Hello, welcome to the online Christian formation program. As you know, the Diocese of El Paso requires all those people who will be participating in ministry in one way or another in the parish are asked to participate in our formation program. And I'm happy to announce that we have this online program for those who are perhaps working a lot or have children at home. I am glad that we're able to present this service for those of you who cannot make the classes at Tepeyac. And so at the outset of this program, this online program, I would like to offer an idea, a general approach to the online program that might be helpful for you. The one thing I would like to talk about is how the Christian Formation Program has an umbrella program that helps us understand what it means to be an Eucharistic church. This is a new perspective that I would like to emphasize in the program. It's new in one sense, but in another sense it is ancient. To talk about the Eucharistic Church. For the past 1,000 years, it's been lost, really, and forgotten. With the Second Vatican Council, there's been a new awareness, a new perspective on seeing the Christian faithful as an Eucharistic church. You know, we celebrate the Eucharist every Sunday. We celebrate it with what Catholics call the Mass. And many times what we celebrate in the Mass, an unconscious awareness that it stays in the sanctuary. But yet, once we leave the church pact of the Eucharist, many times it does not go beyond the church doors. And so we want to ask ourselves, how is the Eucharist that we celebrate every Sunday translated into our everyday life? Or in other words, how is it translated into the parish and into our diocese? So the notion of the Eucharistic Church is one thing that really like to highlight. If the Eucharist is about dialogue, participation, and communion, then I want to ask, how are structures of participation, dialogue, and communion translated into parishes and into dioceses? Now, how are structures developed? Structures are like the skeleton of a body. Without the skeleton, everything falls down to the ground. We need structures, and if Eucharist is trying to help us be a community, then we need to have structures. It's not good enough just to talk about dialogue, participation, and community. We need to create concrete structures and frameworks to guarantee, or at least promote, the possibility that these values will be enhanced and take place. So what we do for 1 hour on Sunday, what we celebrate in the Eucharist at the Mass, is a statement on how we envision a better world. It is our hope for a new heaven and a new earth, the end time. What we envision is a center of gravity whenever we celebrate the Eucharist. And it's that center of gravity that pulls us into the future, into time. We use symbols, gestures, objects, and ritual to point to this new way of being, which is, what I have said already, participation, dialogue, and communion. How do we do that at the Eucharist? Well, we gather together around one table. We sing, we listen, we remember, we share the sign of peace, we eat and we drink, we read from a book and share a little bit of bread and wine. These are all gestures and expressions of participation, dialogue, and communion. We take each one and we draw a bridge, a connection to our parish, for example. The liturgy is of participation. Is there participation in the parish? The liturgy is dialogue. Is there dialogue in the parish? The liturgy is communion. Is there communion in the parish? Are there structures of participation, dialogue, and communion at the parish level? We could also ask ourselves, what is the role of the priest in all of this? The role of the priest is to be an architect of communion and a builder of community. His role is to awaken in all of us that we are a people called to build a better society. That is why we receive communion in the hand. We receive communion in the hand because the hands are sacred. With the hand, we are architects. We are builders of a new society, of a better world. So the Christian Formation Program deals with various aspects of our Catholic identity as a Eucharistic Church. We will look at the Bible, the traditions, sacraments, the saints, ministry, social justice, and evangelization, among many others. The umbrella is to be a Eucharistic Church. So once there is an understanding of what it means to be a Eucharistic Church, then there will be an Eucharistic society where there is flexibility. This is what it means to be an Eucharistic Church. Participation are laid and structures of dialogue are in place in every parish throughout the diocese. Then we ask the Spirit of Christ to bless His people with the gift of communion and peace.